And he's my pastor. Somebody had mentioned to me not too long ago about having a mentor, right? Well, that's what he's to me. My pastor, my mentor. If you got anything against me, tell him. Remember I shared that with you? Let's see. He's the CEO of our organization, and he's the president of our Bible college there in Washington State. So if God has your number, that you know God wants you to be a preacher, or God wants you in the ministry, you get to leave here and go hang out with them there in Washington State. It's a good time. It's a blessed time. It's a really awesome time there at Bible College. But anyways, and then moving forward, we also have with us his wife, Sister Keckle.
So your name is Sister Keckle? You were born that way?
I'm Brother Luck. I'm the chef owner of 4 by Brother Luck in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Did he just say Brother Luck?
Is that really your name?
Brother Luck is my real name.
So if you first meet her, well, if you haven't been introduced this way where you heard her name as Sister, you know, that can already make people feel, there can be a discomfort level to hearing someone referred to as sister or brother, especially for first-time visitors. I'm very sure that when Tanya meets somebody, she introduces herself as Tanya. But if you are in the church, you're a church member in the ministry, don't you dare call her that. Her name becomes her given name. Her name for all time is Sister. My daughter and I were talking about all of this sister-brother stuff before. And I said, you know, it's very easy to say, oh, Tracy, you're being petty. No, because it's, as I've said, it's one more layer of the fabric of authoritarian control and coercion, manipulation, a cult, a church cult. But she said, what would have happened if you even tried to call Davis brother? He had something to say about that. You don't call him brother. He's pastor or Reverend Davis. Well, where is that a thing? Where? The funny thing is, if you're in a crowded room of people from NTCC, like at a conference in Missouri, and you yell, hey, sister, guess how many people are going to turn around? Which sounds funny or humorous, but it's not, because it's one more thing that strips you of your individuality, of something just special about you, which, considering the care that most parents take in naming their children and how it's always been that way through pretty much all time, that becomes our identity. I mean, we want our name spelled correctly, right? We want accent marks there. We want our name to be correct. That's us. If you spell it different, if you put an E in my name, that's not me anymore, because that parent, that mom especially, who's carrying the child, wants it to be stand out and different and special. I believe if you believe in God, that's what he would want from you or for you in your life, right? And yet, you're reduced to just sister, brother, sister, brother, sister, brother, sister, brother. It's one thing to have the freedom to say, I want to call you brother or sister because I feel such a bond to you as a fellow Christian that I just want you to know that. I may even call you Sister Tanya, but that's not a thing either. It has to be the last name. Everything's better when it originates from an organic, from an authentic place, don't you think? And beyond the sister-brother part, being something that takes away your individuality, the other part of that is it's a telling sign. It's used in this group to, and probably most groups that are controlling like this, but in this particular case, as you come into the culture and you say everybody's called Sister this, Sister Smith, Sister Jones, Brother Kardashian, whatever. It's, I noticed this right away when I started attending this serviceman's home in the Philippines, was that it was used either inadvertently or on purpose. But it was clear that if they believed someone to be in and truly on board, they became sister or brother. If they weren't, they were introduced or spoken about by their first name. So you could be someone that, such as I did, I had already claimed to be a Christian, but I got saved somewhere else. I wasn't saved exactly the right way because I wasn't saved into a holiness doctrine. And so I wasn't sister right away. I had to earn the sisterhood. And let's press on to the crux of the matter.
And I appreciate her and everything she is to me and my wife and our ministry, and absolutely a blessing in every way. Always working, nonstop, even when you think that she should be on vacation, still continuously working.
I'm not sure what he means by that. I mean, I say a lot of awkward things, so I can't fault him for it, but he said, even when you think she should be on vacation, she's still continuously working. Well, I think Mr. Cardenas knows that Tanya has been on plenty of vacations in her recent lifetime. When was the last time you, Mr. Preacher man or preacher man's wife, out on the field? When were you last on vacation for a week or two? Go on a cruise? When was it? The first time I heard of one in recent history, ever. Because Davis was down on vacations. Down. He was down. He wasn't down with it. He was down on it. He was not having it. And so there was this revelation recently. I think this is from August, if I'm not mistaken, up in Graham.
And, of course, Reverend Fausto, he's taken off on us. So. But he's going on vacation, so pray for that it's blessed and that everything goes good.
And Fausto has been on more than one vacation since our family left the organization, but if he is able to, now he is known for being, a brown noser. That is his high reputation. So I'm not shocked that he's mentioned. I've looked through a lot of videos, and I'm looking through more to find out who else was able to go on vacation and Kinson asked prayers for. Has Kinson been on vacation? Well, so let's go back to Cardenas, talking about how when you think Sister Kekel needs a vacation, let's see, has she been on any? This picture is from Iceland. This one shows her at the Sea of Galilee. I find this one very interesting. Whenever a preacher tries to hide that that's what they are and that's what they do, such as on LinkedIn, some of them have done that. I believe Kekel is one. He likes to promote himself as a CEO. How do I know all this? Well, if you see on there, Mike says to read his blog. So I went and I read the blog. Lots of posts about their trips with pictures. And I really wondered, for all the different ones that made comments and liked it, some of them being ministers or ministers' wives, I really wonder what went through their head when they read all these different posts about all these different places. Never mind the little side trips they take when they go out to visit the churches. This one I found just in looking at different things. Tanya has a whole separate Twitter account. It seems to be mostly her retweeting all kinds of political stuff up until, it's current. And so I found this picture tucked away while just scrolling through it. don't think she's trying to hide anything. I think certain people know she has this account. And here I've included just a sampling of some of the entries on the blog, but you can see clearly they've had some trips. Trips not afforded to others, except we see that Fausto has gone for a week at least one time. But what about all those out in the field? When do they get their vacations? Do they get a week? And it's been over 50 years of this organization, so I'm wondering when that will be forthcoming. Maybe instead of, it's not a big deal unless everyone is able to do the same thing. Maybe Mike and his wife can consider making good on the thing her daddy said, which was about going out to relieve the pastors in the churches and give them a little time to step back, recuperate, become refreshed. Some of these people have been in their locations a long, long time. And if they've never been able to take a week off or something, it's another part of the awful nature of this institutionalized organizational thing. You're beholden to this board of directors and all these other things. If God were to tell a man out on the field, man, you need to take a week off, take 2 weeks, take a month, just go work, make some money, relax. I mean, I don't know if most of them even have money to take a vacation, but just to be able to stop and just have the freedom to do what you want each day. Sleep in late if you want, and just step back and get revitalized. I don't think they want anybody to have that time not associated with their organization, because they probably know once someone slows down and has time to relax and think and meditate, ruminate, that they'll realize that what they are involved in is not what they think it is. And maybe they'll make a move to do something about it. There is nothing like that in place, nothing. And why isn't there? And here is the website for his blog. It is mckeckle.wordpress.com. And it's not about anybody. It's not about the Keckles taking a vacation. Take all the vacations you want. I think the more that man is away, the better it is for the mental health of people that are his followers. Honestly, believe that. And all you have to do is watch his videos to find out why I believe that. This is not about, oh, you're talking about the Keckles going on vacation. You're a hater. You're bitter. You're jealous. No. This has to do with, and when I share about going to Pittsburgh, I hope that will shed more light. But I'm someone who's, as I've said before, been there, done that. I've done things that the Keckles themselves have not done, which is to pioneer a work. They don't know what it's like as they go traipsing around the world. They go traipsing around the world. And he has the ever-loving gall to come back to Graham and rip you all a new one. And when I look at these videos and I see people I know have been in their place of labor a long time, and I wonder, have they ever once had a week off? When you're out there and you're dealing with people and their problems and pressure from Keckle especially, and I'm going to show that too in the next video when we talk about business, evangelism and business. Because isn't there a point where the two of them stop and say, look out at those faces at a conference and look at the different ones and say, oh my goodness, they've been in that city forever. I don't care how called of God you think you are to be in the particular city you're in. There is a point where anguishing for people and dealing with it every single week and having to deal with Graham and Olson and Mike and their demands and what they expect. And I'll tell you what they expect, because I'm going to share that next. Why don't they look out at you and say, we've got time on our hands. Let's start believing some of these preachers and their families and give them a break and give them a rest like we get, and let them take pictures and selfies from the deck of a cruise ship or from the Sea of Galilee, or maybe they just want to go maybe they don't want to go anywhere. Maybe they don't want to pick up stakes. And because sometimes going on vacation is honestly more work than it's worth. Sometimes just staying from your home base is everything. We'll go see our family and assure them we're not in a cult. See, we're here. Oh yeah, you've been in the ministry for how many years? Over 30, and now here you are having a vacation. Okay, sure. This particular video is directed at those in the ministry. Not exclusively, but mostly, because I hope. Now, I say this, and yet, I was just telling my daughter today that it can happen to church members too, because there are ogres out there in NTCC. There are ogres who are behind a pulpit, and they really thrive in the serviceman's environment because they just have willing yes men. That I was telling her how when I was over in the Philippines and the Blumenthals were there, my ex-husband got out of the military in upstate New York, flew over to the Philippines, and there was a sense that the day he flew in, I was thinking, you go be alone together, because it has been a year and a half separated, with maybe a week in between, maybe a week at the halfway point when I went stateside to a class. But no, I had to. I say I had to. It was a part of the environment to ask, was it okay that we stayed home from church? It was not okay. We had to be there. We were there. Good little foot soldiers that we were. Ugh. I wish he had said at the time, no. And I wish I had said at the time, no. And yet another red flag. I don't know if there's enough red material in the universe to make all of our red flags combined. I just don't. Anyway, just something to think about.